And we're live. What's up, SFL? I got myself here with D Haas and Human, new members, the newest two members of the league. Though you guys are more familiar with D Haas, he's been talking shit for a while now.
What are you talking about? I'm just telling the truth over here, Gee. I'm not talking shit.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's
I've
true.
only
That's
known
true.
Dehas for a minute, and I've never heard him talk shit.
Yeah,
Uh,
see?
Human, you want to like introduce yourself to the peeps who don't know you yet?
Yeah, I think they kind of all know me as the guy that I guess swung the kicker vote. So
Hmm.
hopefully I'm adored for that, or maybe a little bit hated by some people.
Nope, you're
But
a hero.
I some people say a hero, but I get death threats and emails and stuff like that from some others. So I'm not sure exactly which it is yet. But I really appreciate being part of this league. For as much as you guys are fucking awesome, you guys are really great fantasy players, and that's what's been awesome to like get into a league where everyone's like-minded. And to have Dylan, like the way he sets this all up and runs it, it's been awesome. I'm not being paid. This is not an ad, but just really appreciate the opportunity to work with you guys and play.
All right, time out real quick. You said we're all good fantasy players? Have you
Well,
looked at these rosters, Human?
I bonded with Holden at the draft, and I swore to myself I would never say anything negative about him. So that's why I included him as being a great fantasy player, also.
It's fair, but have you seen my roster?
Hey, shit happens.
That's all right. I was nice too when I first joined the league. It'll wear off.
Let's get right into it then. We can talk about our one trade this week. It was just me and Dylan. My man wanted to move Josh Jacobs, and I said, "Yeah, I'll take him." I gave him Mike Evans, and basically, he didn't want to have two Bucks wide receivers, and I still wanted a Baker stack. So I was like, you know what? Flip me Chris Godwin, and I'll give you Stephon Diggs, or that's what he said. And then I was like, deal, let's do it. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I wanted to ask you a question about this, Gee. Do you feel like you might have been selling high with Diggs?
I am worried about that team with all the mouths they have to feed. Let's
Yep.
just say that it's the fact that Mixon came in and was how much they're running the ball with him
Yeah.
made me worried. Okay, so you're gonna run the ball like 30 times per game and also have to feed three wide receivers. That made me worried.
So my concern was I owned Diggs in a keeper league that I have separate from this, and we know the last 2 years he's had the same kind of season where he starts off hot, gets the targets, gets hyper targeted, and then kind of tails off towards the end of the year. So when I saw that that was the deal that was happening, I was like, that's a win-win for both you guys. But I was like,
Yeah.
Gee unloading Diggs right now. We'll see how it pans out as the year goes on. It's only week 2, but I thought that was a really shrewd move.
And you know what? I wasn't honestly like it wasn't like I was unloading digs. Like Dylan was the one that wanted them.
Right, right.
So, but yeah, I kind of I needed a RB2. D House knows all about that life.
I was pretty off on Diggs this year because it was kind of the same thing I told Will with Keenan Allen. Nothing personal, but wide receivers that are aging, like 30 over, that swap teams outside of their prime.
Mhm.
It just typically doesn't go good. And Diggs had a good week 1, but that was with 2 touchdowns.
Yeah,
So
two
the points
tutties.
are inflated.
Yep.
The alpha in that offense is Nico Collins.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
Nico,
He's killing it.
he's so
I
good.
wonder who has Nico Collins.
Shoot,
Uh, I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to look that up.
I can pull that up right now. It
Yeah, let
is
you guys.
you.
Oh, fuck.
Yes, it is.
The fact that you let us go that fucking
Oh
long.
my god, this guy.
Nico's
Dickhead.
crushing it.
I retract
But
my sarcasm of saying that I've never heard you talk shit before because that was implied shit talk.
but as far as the trade goes for both of you though, like I can smell the desperation coming from both sides. Like I feel like
Hey,
like
trust me,
1 week it's gonna be Godwin, the next week it's gonna be Evans. Like you guys basically just flip flopped weeks.
speaking
Although I
of
know you are
desperation,
pretty bullish on Godwin.
I am very
I was
bullish on
trying to
Godwin
plant
still.
that deal. Whenever the deal went through, I was trying to cuck it. That's how desperate I was. I was offering money. I think I offered Dylan over $100 fab along with some players.
Holy shit.
And yeah, I was desperate. I mean, I had Pacheco go down, so I needed. I saw Jacobs available. I have Marshawn Lloyd. I thought maybe I could get in on that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
But
he really needed wide receivers. Like I needed a
Yeah.
RB2 and he needed wide receivers. So I feel like it's a win-win trade. I feel like it's pretty even. The online tools said that I got my ass raped, but I kind of don't feel that way.
I think it was a pretty even trade.
Let's go on over right into our waivers. We had quite an active waiver. Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Dylan dropped the bag this week.
Yeah, he did.
You
You
go
know,
get him, Dylan.
Dylan still hasn't posted the updated power rankings for after the waivers and the trade. So I don't know if it'll make that much of a difference. But we'll start right here. The very first one is right, big spender, the
You want me
Deontay
to explain this,
Foreman.
please?
Yeah,
Yeah, I figured. I
77.
figured it was very opportune that I was on the show tonight, so I would have to explain myself on this one here. Um, it was a strange week in the SFL, right? I had a little bit of a controversy happen this week where Isaiah Pacheco go down. I saw Kareem Hunt available. I wasn't aware of the non NFL contract things. We all know what happened. That's how desperate I am for a running back. And with that having happened, I knew the league knew that I needed a running back, and that was going to be going after one of the few available. And after I saw some of the spending that I saw the very first waivers that went through with this league, and
Yeah,
mind you, I'm getting I need to get to know you guys. It's going to take me a while to get to know you guys and know the spending habits and all that.
yeah.
I couldn't fuck around. I was like, this is the person I want. I'm gonna take my fab dump early on this player to get a running back that I know that is insurance.
I think Deontay Foreman's really good too.
Yeah, his volume. I mean, he didn't play week one. He didn't suit up week one. He suited up week two and took 14 carries in that game. I didn't watch much of that game, but I know they weren't in a positive game script the entirety of the game, so that made me feel good. We'll see.
Well, you overpaid by $76 after paying for
I hope it works out for you.
I told you, I wanted to make sure I got this guy. I wasn't
Well,
sure what Holden was gonna do, or I honestly thought DeHaas, because I saw his final words in that night was, "I will 100% try to fuck a trade or cuck a trade or your bid." So I was like, you know what, Daddy Warbucks tonight with the money. Let's get the guy we want.
Nobody picked up Hunt. Like all
No.
this talk about like Hunt being like this thing, and nobody even put a bid on him.
Well, I was legitimate about what I said in the group chat about, and I think you two, I would like to hear both of y'all's opinions as to what we see or foresee happening in the Kansas City backfield. Now they also signed Keontae Ingram, right? It's going to be a backfield by committee.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's not going
Well,
to be Kareem Hunt. I can tell you
no,
that. Like
yeah,
it won't
solely
be.
Kareem Hunt.
It won't be Kareem Hunt. We've seen him. We saw him in Cleveland at the end. We saw that he had a productive year in Cleveland, but then the following year he fell off.
He
He
was
hit
on
that.
the street at the end of September for a reason.
Yes, and we know the reason he's in KC is he knows the playbook, he knows the team, he knows Andy Reid. But I honestly think it's going to be a committee. I don't think any one of those guys is going to stand out as the workhorse until Pacheco gets back.
yeah. I feel the same exact way. That's why I didn't put a bid on him. We were talking about it, but like you do understand like what the reason why you couldn't make that pickup, right? Like the app
Whoa,
allowed you
yeah,
to.
yeah, for sure. To me, like I said, and I'm legit honest about this. I was looking him up to place a waiver claim, saw that he was unavailable, and like I said, I'm not going to text one of you guys and be like, "Hey, he's non-NFL contract, but these other guys were locked," because people I saw were locked because they must have been dropped, I guess, 2 days prior.
It's because
So
their
I thought,
games already went by. That's why they were
or
locked.
that. I wasn't even paying
Yeah,
attention. I just got out of work. I saw some stuff happening. I saw that. It was a heat of the moment thing. No issue whatsoever.
yeah. Let's just move on to the next guy here. $59 for Andy Dalton by the Cream Pie Cupcake. Magic School Bus paid 20, so that's an overpay by $39. I really don't like. You weren't gonna start Bryce Young. Are you gonna start Andy Dalton?
I I I think I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you guys all saw how Carolina actually was graded out really well this past weekend for the offensive line blocking and pressures. So it wasn't really a Bryce Young thing, and maybe Dalton can actually maybe sustain a fantasy receiver somehow.
Maybe.
I took a shot with Thielen in the waiver wire.
Yeah, I saw that. Which I think is a good pickup because if anybody's gonna do some performance there, I think it's gonna be Thielen.
Yeah,
The
I
next
just
quarterback, Magic School Bus, he was going for a quarterback. He didn't get Andy Dalton, so he went for Skylar Thompson. Not that big of a overpay. Adi went 25 on him. Thompson's gonna be okay, maybe.
yeah, especially with the weapons, people you get the ball in Achan's hand, he's probably gonna score.
And I feel
I'm
like
just
that's a very like motion dump off
Yeah,
screen offense.
I'm just shocked that like I'm assuming he did it for bye weeks because he's got Stroud and Hurts. Like in no world is so I know Hurts' bye is like week
That's
5.
true. He does. Yeah.
yeah.
Like he's like I don't know. I was surprised he spent like that much basically
I mean, the man is a
for
0 and
the
2.
waiver.
All right. He's 0 and 2. He's
That's what I'm
been way.
saying. You can smell the desperation.
Luke Schoonmaker, $34. You know,
Schoonmaker, man, Schoonmaker, the Schoon man.
Ferguson I think is back to practicing limited
Yeah,
capacity this week, so he's not far off from coming back.
so just on these two players, Dylan spent up $70 on these two. And then got Brandon Allen went for $32, and the next bid was one. This is the thing about this league, right? We all think that someone else is gonna like when somebody has a guy they want, they go all in. So you get paranoid that someone else is gonna go all in, so you feel like, oh, I have to go all in too because I want my guy.
Boom, you have no idea how many times like I'll put in my waivers and then like I'll be like half asleep and I'll just be like somebody's gonna outbid me and then I'll pull my
bro,
phone
I've done
out.
this so many times.
I'll add like $10 to it and then like the
I'm not
next
gonna
day
tell you,
comes and yeah, and it was
I
just a
can
waste
pull
of
up my
time.
phone right now to show you that I set alarms every waiver night, and I did it last night too. I changed my bid on Foreman 4 times last night. 4 times.
Just kept on going up.
It no, it went the other way. I started with 87,
Oh,
and I
okay.
I started coming down.
Oh man. The other big one was Alec Pierce for 31. That was a
That
big one.
somebody picked him up because week 1 nobody bid on his big
I know,
performance, and
right?
then week 2 he did it again. I was like, is there something there?
Is
Yeah.
it
Like,
sustainable though? Do you think it's sustainable with Richardson?
I think Josh Downs is a real problem when Josh
Yeah.
Downs come
that's
back from injury.
yeah,
Yeah.
and he's supposed to be back this week, so we'll
Yeah.
see. This week will be telling.
And then right here, the not overpay Dihas $31 for Quentin Johnson, just $2 more than the next bidder.
Yeah, so he's gonna be a stash for me because he looked pretty good, granted against Carolina.
Yeah.
But the big reason I wanted to pick him up is because week 7, 8, and 9 they play Arizona, New Orleans, and Cleveland. So he might be like a viable like bye week filler for me.
Yeah.
And by then I should have a pretty good idea by then what he actually is.
Oh,
Yeah,
for
but
sure.
if it wasn't just luck with two TDs making you think that, I can feel
Yeah.
that. Antonio Gibson
You
went
know,
for
the
28.
organization wants to get him
Oh,
going because they invested the first round capital in him.
Yeah.
yeah. So I figured he'd be a good stash at wide receiver. Yeah, why
Yeah.
not? Better than Chase Brown. Bengals.
I see you bid $3 on Tolbert, and but you already had filled, so I won with the two. Feels good
Yep.
here.
Hey, I told you about Tolbert 2
Yeah,
weeks
you
ago.
did. Yeah, you did.
I like Tolbert coming in the season. Most people were still on Cooks,
Mhm.
but Tolbert had a lot of positive reports like all off season during training camp and whatnot. So
And he's got the talent.
yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
Talking about the past, let's just go get right into this thing. I'm gonna start out with the Walters division. The very first game I have on the lineup here is Will kicking my ass. 138 to 109. Will had 5 touchdowns. I only had two. I was pretty sure I'm the lowest touchdown scorer for the week. Really down week for me this week. And Will officially tied our overall record to 3-3.
Just want to say
Yeah.
I'm disappointed in you, Gee.
What did I do?
Josh Allen's 14.65 point performance. I felt like basically tried to give you the week.
I know, right? I saw that on Thursday and I was like, oh, I win.
Like, man, but it's all right.
I,
It happens to everybody.
no, seriously, I saw that and I'm like, yeah, let's get it. I won this week. That's nice.
Uh,
So bad. There was nothing I could have done either. My bench was kind of shit. I mean, I could have played Jared Judy, but it's not.
Yeah.
and he
Cooper had.
started Christian Watson. Like, what was he thinking? Like, does he realize Christian Watson's like literally the number 5 option in that offense
Oh, look at his
behind
bench.
With
behind
Malik
Reed,
Willis.
Dobbs, Jacobs, Wicks, then
Malik
Watson.
Willis, who's only throwing the ball, who threw the ball how many times? 12 times?
Yeah, like I
9
don't.
completions? Come on.
He's wow. He was just hoping for a deep bomb, I guess, for a
Yeah.
touchdown. I don't know.
Our next game
Oh,
on the Walters division, we got the Rob game, which is Martial Law versus House of Priapism. This is a really good game, 193 to 165. Rob's got 11 touchdowns, so
Wow.
or
he was up like me last week, and Gary only had 3 touchdowns and put up 165 points. So like, his players had performance. He got a lot of yards and first downs, but the lack of touchdowns really just killed him. Nothing from his quarterbacks.
I'm
And
sure he's excited about Neighbors because that was a nice breakout
yeah,
for Neighbors.
yeah, it was. And I was actually on the pregame when we were talking about this uh, for for the podcast last week. I was saying I don't know if I would start Caleb Williams. I honestly think I would start Daniel Jones for Washington. And look and behold, had he started Daniel Jones, that's an additional 20 points. Just one more. The actual, if he started the lineup that I said he should have started, which was Daniel Jones, and put Shaheed in there, you could have put Shaheed instead of Pittman or Worthy. He wins the game.
And Shaheed at this point has to be considered a weekly start. Um, Carr's taken. I mean, depending on your roster buildup, but Carr takes 3 shots, 2 to 3 shots a game at him, and if one of those hits each week, it's fantasy gold.
Yeah, and not only that, he returns kicks, dude.
dude,
Yeah.
that offense is just humming. Like if you have a Saint, you almost gotta start him at this point. Like,
We think this is going to maintain. Do we think this is going to be it?
I mean, every week, no, but I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the season we're talking about them being like a top 3 offense because they had an offensive coordinator switch,
Yeah, new
and
offensive
until I see
coordinator
it
that
slow
actually knows
down,
what he's doing. Like that's
yeah,
the big
until I see it
difference.
slow down, I'm gonna just ride the wave if I got them.
And Rob's team is, in talking about the Saints, Rob had Alvin Kamara with his 52 points, and that's why he won, right? One
Yep.
player,
Yeah.
52 points. If you don't win with that,
Yeah, that's like
that's.
losing if your opponent has Josh Allen score 14 points or something.
All right, settle down, buddy. Let's go to the Donnie's division. We're gonna go right up to your game. What I thought was gonna be the game of the week, but it really wasn't that close. D Haas Magic School Bus. Um, D Haas 187 to 130, and you are now officially 6-1 against Dylan. You own
Wow.
this man's soul. Um, and this wasn't a touchdown game. It was 6 touchdowns to 5 touchdowns. So Dylan got only 130 points off of 5 touchdowns. So his team is in some serious hurt.
Yeah, our matchup was actually really close in the first half of the 1 o'clock games, But then when that second half came out, I just started pulling away. And then what basically killed him was CJ Stroud just tunnel visioning Nico Collins.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. You just got all the points
That was it.
And
I
there
gotta
was
ask you a
nothing
question,
really.
D-Hoss.
Yo.
What's your panic rating right now on Laporta?
Honestly, like from a scale of 1 to 10, like a 3, because it just doesn't seem like it's the year for tight end.
Yeah.
If there were like a bunch of tight ends like Kelsey and Andrews and Likely and Bowers and like all these other tight ends popping off and Laporta wasn't, then I might panic a little bit, but there's really not.
It seems like all the cheap tight ends are scoring points, and all the expensive ones are not.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's tight end. I'm not gonna stress
I
about it.
mean, honestly, if you look across the board of the skill positions, top 5 QB, running back, wide receiver, tight end, as far as total yards and fantasy points this season, it looks like we're in the upside down. I mean,
Hmm.
Derek Carr's the QB1. Um there were some randoms at wide receiver and running back also. It's just bizarre.
Sam Darnold is balling out. Geno
Yep.
Smith is balling out. Um, yeah, there's a bunch of stuff going on. We'll see if it sticks.
The next Donnie's games is the Holden game, Elderly Gangbang versus Truck Stop Glory Hole. Both
Oh, he
teams,
did break 200.
he broke 200, got the highest score of the week. Both teams at 1-1 now, and
So was he allowed to start 6 quarterbacks?
no,
I mean,
but
he has cars, so
Carr
basically,
Carr did the
Yeah.
trick. Um, it's funny. It's like the quarterbacks that he does have on his team aren't even starting. It's like just like
No.
he's taking on these QBs that are like aren't even playing.
the funny
And
thing too is he refuses to start Dobbins and Jameson Williams, and
yeah, this team's this team's
it's not
good.
bad.
This team's
Yeah,
good. It's
Seeing Kirk Cousins' name as you're scrolling is giving me PTSD because I've seen it appear in my trade inbox about 5 million times.
he just keeps on offering it to you. Just keep on.
Kirk Cousins, man. Kirk Cousins. I don't know why specifically Kirk Cousins, but I used to like the guy and I fucking hate him now.
Well, Holden got 10 touchdowns. Jordan got 5. Holden's now 3-0 in their total overall record against each other. So Jordan's new, so he doesn't have that many games played yet. The next game, we're gonna go here and over to dudes. We had Kyle, which is the all hail the Washington. God damn it, I hate Holden so much for naming him. This is so bad. Uh, the all hail Washington Commanders versus Cream Pie Cupcake. And remember, like, here's the Victor curse again. Starts out the highest score of the week, and then is the worst score of the very next week.
And I'm so glad I was the beneficiary of his highest score. Fucking awesome.
Oh man, yeah,
uh,
Kyle 152 to 108. Kyle's up 3-2. It's a low touchdown game for both of them. Kyle had 4. Victor had 3, and yeah, honestly, it wasn't like the only one thing I would have said is like, uh, why is Bowers on the bench? Right? I understand
Yeah.
you want to start Isaiah Likely, but like Keon Coleman hasn't done shit like all year.
No, and I hate to give helpful or any advice, but I would probably be flexing Bowers at this point if you want to start Bowers and Likely because
Yeah,
to me
he needs
Bowers
to
you got
trade
to
one of
start.
them.
Yeah, you got to start Bowers at this point.
he
Yeah,
could have got a bag for Likely after week 1. Somebody would
Yeah.
have been like, "Oh my god,
yeah,
Yep.
here's a
I
wide receiver."
I
yeah.
felt the Andrews leveling out would happen at some point, and I think we've already seen it over the transition to the last week.
Yeah, not starting Bowers is the weird one for me. And Kyle's gonna have some trouble picking who to start. I feel like his team's a lot of dudes that can play that are gonna be up and
Yes.
down, and he's gonna be picking the wrong dudes like very often.
Do you remember what I said about Kyle's team before the season?
Mm-mm.
when I said I really like his roster, but it scares me because it reminds me of my roster last year, and my roster just ended up being mid because I didn't have any of those players that were gonna just pop off for a random 40. I just had like a bunch of, hey, I'm gonna score like 15, 20 points a week, and that's it.
Yeah.
Because
Like
his depth
steady.
is awesome. His bench is awesome. Like Guy
Yep.
said, that
Best
presents a lot of
bench.
problems of where you do the paralysis by analysis and you like
Yep.
you overthink who to start or you make the wrong decision and it's tough.
I mean,
Yeah, his team literally reminds me of mine last year.
he might have to pull like what Will and Dylan did earlier, is just find someone who doesn't have depth but has a star player,
Yeah.
and just try to go for it. But I don't know who that person is anymore. And the last game was your game, Human. You got your first win.
I do. I popped my SFL cherry, and that was pretty exciting. And not only did I get to pop it, but I popped it against one of my oldest friends in this world. So that was kind of awesome.
I was gonna say, don't get too excited because it was just Ari, and it's like,
Yeah, it was nice though because we actually played head to head in our other league that we're in with Will also, and I beat him there as well. So pulling the double on him over the week was kind of nice. It was nice.
Total ownage, 167, 136, 7 of 5 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns and 136 points. Man, that's rough. Like, he really needs something from Kelsey. Kelsey only 1.6 points.
That's another one where if he were on the show with us, I'd be asking about his panic alarm. Now that we've
oh, he's panicking.
I
Oh, he's panicking.
I
Says
judge
one of my trade offers.
that offer. um, but I don't know. That's one of the reasons I was scared of Kelsey, and I was worried to touch him in any league that I was in this year. Is just if is Kansas City, managing his load? Are they gonna try to build around and like try to get the other youth involved, save him for down the line? And we kind of saw that a little bit last year towards the end of the year. So I was a little panicked about Kelsey for myself, but I didn't have to make that decision. I ended up with Pitts, who might as well be in that position because I'm going to be quite honest with you. I don't know if Will disclosed this information. When we were driving to the draft, he did tell me, or we had that conversation, do not let either of us draft Kyle Pitts. Um, and I had a moment while at the draft while I was doing it where I was trying to push him up a little bit more and then get out.
That was me last
Um,
year.
and then I was looking around and no one else was about to bid, and I accepted it. I embraced it, and I was like, yes, Kirk Cousins. And maybe that's why I keep getting Kirk Cousins, the ghost of Kirk Cousins in my inbox because of that. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Last
Holden's
year,
trying to help you out with a stack, man.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Holden.
last year I bid $12 on Pitts, I believe. I think it was like something like $12, just trying to push it up a little bit more, and then nobody bid more, and I just yelled "fuck," uh, and then I was stuck with them. But thankfully, I was able to trade for Sam Laporta down the line, and then win
Oh,
the champ.
nice.
Yeah, good job, Victor.
Thanks, Victor. Appreciate it, bud.
What do we think about Audie's Tua situation here? If you take a look at his bench, he's not got much happening because he's got Russell
Yeah,
Wilson.
Russell's also out.
I
Did
tried to
he?
trade him Watson.
I tried to trade him Will Levis for Russell Wilson.
I believe he's one of the guys that was going for QBs. Let's see, Andy Dalton. No, he didn't bid on Andy Dalton.
Yeah, I'm confused.
He bid
I mean,
25 on Skylar Thompson. He should
I
have
hate to
bid
put the
more.
trade stuff out there, but I offered him Will Levis straight up for Russ Wilson. He'd have a starting quarterback, and I would have had someone to handcuff kind of Justin Fields, but nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the only two new quarterbacks, right, that are coming in this week. Is Andy
Yeah.
Dalton and Thompson? Those are the injury quarterbacks.
Yep. I mean, we still have, I believe, Malik Willis is still in our free agency pool, who's
Oh, he is
starter.
starting. Yeah, he is starting. He could be picked up.
But I
That's
mean,
true.
12 passing attempts isn't going to get you a whole lot.
Oh man, yeah, but still might be better than putting
A
up one of
zero.
these bench players.
Yeah.
It is super flex. It's not double QB, so you
Oh,
could
that's
play
true. That's
something
true.
else.
Still.
Let's go on to next week. I got a game against Rob. Rob and I are both tied at 7-7, and this they're not giving us a lot of points here on the projected. And I think Rob has way better matchups. What do you guys think about this game?
Take a look. Oh, Kamara.
Yeah, against Philly.
Yeah, Kamara and Jefferson. I mean, I was one of the people that did not think Jefferson was going to be of not definitely not what he was, but I didn't think he was going to be close to that. But Darnold's kind of supporting him right now. I don't know if we think that's a fluke or not. Hopefully for your case, Gee, for this week, it was a fluke, and maybe this is his regression back.
I don't think it is, man. Let me tell you something. I've been watching Sam Darnold for a while because I have him on my dynasty league. So
I'm sorry.
I've watched him on some games, and it's honestly has felt like you see him sometimes, and he shows talent. But I
Hmm.
just felt like his coaching and his supporting cast was ass his entire career. So I had a feeling that maybe this would happen. Like he comes into a good team with an actual good receiver to throw the ball to. I honestly don't think it's a fluke. I actually think he's pretty good. But
Okay.
but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I mean, he had what was it? He had that little stretch of time in Carolina where he was playing pretty well, and then it all kind of went away.
I just think it was like a low confidence, bad coaching, bad O line was basically his. It's just like a spiral of doom.
Hmm.
He he was in a bad situation, which made him play worse, which made himself feel bad about how he was playing, which made him play worse. And then it's like once you're in your own head, it's hard to shake out. But I think Rob kicks my ass this week, and then I cry sad noises.
Yeah, I gotta give the nod to Roy well this week. I mean, don't get me wrong, both teams suck, but his sucks just a little bit less.
I'm gonna give him the edge with having Kamara there. Kamara and Jefferson kind of gives him the edge for me.
Yeah. Don't
Yeah,
forget McBride either. If that Cardinals offense keeps going the
Yeah.
way it did this week,
yeah. Here we have Will versus Gary. Gary never sets his lineup. He wants to play
I've
the mystery
realized
game.
that.
But Will has some amazing matchups this week. Like it's all green. You mouse over this, everything is green. It's just green, 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 green. Um, so he's projected to score 145 points. But Gary has a number. Gary is beating them 5-2 over their SFL career. Uh,
I just with Will having Josh Allen, that kind of like makes you just think that he's gonna be having that big cushion in that quarterback position to start things off. And
yeah,
just take a look at Gary's.
it's just hard to figure out who Gary's gonna play. He's probably definitely gonna play ETN, who's got a good matchup. Well, we don't know if he's gonna finally start Shaheed, which he probably should. Um, his quarterbacks, is he gonna start Caleb Williams again?
We got a matchup at Indianapolis versus Daniel Jones at Cleveland. You almost want to go with Caleb Williams there.
I
Yeah,
got to give the nod to Will just because I can't until I see the Bears score some points. Like
yeah,
Gary's backed himself into a corner with that team. He's got so many Bears.
yeah. So I think that's unfortunate.
I've
Oh
got a
and three.
feeling that CeeDee Lamb's going to have a nuclear week this week. For some reason or another, I feel like he's going to have his big CeeDee Lamb week.
He hasn't been doing much this year, has he? Yeah, 17,
He's been
22.
consistent. Yeah, he's been consistent. Just he hasn't had that
He
pop yet.
hasn't been CD Lamb. He hasn't been like
Right.
the guy you pay for, right?
Yep.
Um, and this is also week 3, so this is the last of the division games. We're gonna go on over to your division here, D Haas. We're gonna look at the Magic School Bus and the Elderly Gangbang. 140 to 134. Holden's on top. You guys think the trades are going to be enough here for Dylan?
Taking a look
Um,
at this new build here.
I don't, just because Holden's got a good team,
He's got a really
and
good
he's
team,
got
man.
he's got some good matchups as well this week.
Yeah, he does. I'm
Yeah,
seeing a
Holden has a
lot of
really good
green. They're 8-8 against each other. These are like original founding members. So, or well, Holden came in this like second season or whatever. So, long history.
I'll say this about Dylan's lineup that he has right now, though. He has like high volatility there with guys like Diggs. I mean, he's got Diggs and Dell, so that would be hard for them to both pop off in the same game. But for one of them to have an explosive game, along with Evans, which we know is capable of having like 2 touchdowns in one
Yeah,
game,
that's true.
Hurts
Also,
could,
Aaron Jones.
yeah. And with Hurts now starting to run more that we saw this past week, you never know. And Kincaid, honestly, he's been quiet. He hasn't had what we've expected of Kincaid with the consolidation of targets over in Buffalo. So I, I'm not gonna write off. You know what? This is my upset of the week right here.
Oh, upset of the week. We got. All
I
right,
like
it's
this lineup for
calling it.
some reason this week. I like this lineup for this week.
I would love that because then I'd have two people in my division at 1 and 2,
Oh yeah, that's great.
and then if I won, everybody in my division would be 1 and 2.
Let's look at
Go
your game
Dylan,
then for the same
go
division
Dylan.
here.
Oh my goodness! Look at the spread on this game.
This is the game of the week.
So
Super close, 143, 141 on the projected.
we're also both limping into this game pretty good. Like I won't have Debo or AJ Brown, and he's without Cooper Cup,
Possibly Walker.
possibly Walker. Higgins is going to be a hard choice for him because since he doesn't play until Monday,
Yep.
so he's going to have to make that decision if he risks it for the biscuit. And then also Ferguson just started practicing again this week, so he's got a lot of players to keep track of.
Does G Hole have a Monday night player on his bench?
No. Oh yeah,
Nope.
Oh yeah, he
Thompson,
does.
Thomas.
Ryan
Yeah,
Thomas.
There you go.
that,
So
that's
yeah,
a
he'll
good.
be
That's
fine.
a good switch. That's a good switch.
That
Yeah,
is good.
he's okay then.
Yeah, he's fine.
So
Um, well, yeah, Higgins is going up against Washington. You might want to start him anyway.
Oh
Um,
yeah, that's the big thing. Washington's defensive backs this year.
I'm gonna call this the upset of the week right here. I think G Hole with all his he's got some very good matchups this week, but going up against the best team in the league, I think this is a good upset to happen here. The division game, very good lineups or very good matchups, and you are struggling with injuries on two of your best receivers.
yeah, definitely hurts. It should be a good game. I'm glad that because remember the computers or the experts, they have me and him as the number 1 and 2.
Hmm.
Like they like our teams the best.
Yeah,
So we'll see. The game's definitely more important for him because if he loses, he's 1 and 2.
I think you're gonna have a good game from Mahomes.
Dude, Mahomes hasn't popped off at all yet.
Hasn't, and I think we're gonna see them unleash the fury this week.
I
um,
You
hope
had
so,
some
man.
from the
Because
best
amazing.
like
game,
Jonathan Taylor hasn't popped off
Taylor
yet.
has, yeah, Taylor hasn't yet, so you're kind of due for that.
Laporta's been
Scary
quiet.
that you're the fucking best team right now.
my man, you got the best team, and you're just like complaining that your players aren't popping off yet.
Dude,
Chill out, chill
my
out.
highest scorer was like 33 this past week with Nico Collins. He was my highest scorer for the entire year so far.
Nico's been a dude this year, though, man.
Yeah.
From game of the week to the toilet bowl of the week, we got cream pie cupcake versus Campbell's soup, both projected below 120. Cream pie
Uh,
cupcake is a little bit higher, and Victor has a
Feel for
slight
Audie.
edge, 3-2 on AB for their history. So
The fact that Audie has to start Chuba Hubbard, I feel his pain because in my dynasty league or keeper league, I had to start Miles Sanders this past week, and that was not a pleasant experience at
he
all.
has Chuba Bird in a spot a QB should be in. Just think about that for a second.
I just I just noticed that because I'm high as
Right.
fuck right now. I didn't even realize that.
But
Yeah.
now think about this. Even with that, he's still only projected 5 points lower than
I know,
Hey,
it's
Audie,
so
if you
Victor.
watch
crazy.
this episode, I offered
Dude,
you Will Levis. You can probably beat the pie cupcake with him. Come on.
I
do
can't
I even?
I can't pick AB to win with Chuba Hubbard in his QB2 spot.
I was gonna say, do I even have to pick this game? Because I feel
Yeah.
like you're making me choose
What,
between like
hey,
walking
can you
on
scroll
hot
back his bench?
coals and eating glass. Like I don't want to do either.
Can we see his bench again and see if there's anybody better than Chuba Hubbard that can go in there?
No. I mean Davis,
Oh.
Gary Davis maybe?
Maybe Madison? I don't know. I don't know, Audie. You yeah, cream pie cupcake
Yeah,
gets
I don't
not
know.
on this one.
I wouldn't play Madison. Yeah, this is it's bad. Both it's bad. And then we'll finish it off with your game. 125 to 128. Another really close spread. 3 points. Um,
I'm not sure of my lineup yet. I haven't set it, so
you're
this is
not
a
sure of your
little.
lineup.
No, well, I had a lot of work this afternoon. I had the pickup on waivers, so I got to kind of go through and assess the lineup still.
Um,
But my triage room is full at the moment.
I don't know with this one.
It terrifies me going up against Achan. Um,
yeah.
and
He's a
Richardson
monster.
because Richardson hasn't really popped off with like a big run game yet this year. Uh, I might be jinxing myself here, but I'm not too concerned about Waddle. I feel like in Miami, it's going to be a lot of short to Tyreek, maybe Achan, a lot of just extensions of the run game. Andrews, I'm worried about because I think he's starting to kind of reassimilate into the game plan, get healthier. Other than that, I haven't been big on Singletary or Lawrence. Lawrence has had kind of a rough year. And I'm just hoping Kyler and Fields can keep it going and maybe get another miracle from James Cook.
Kyle just has some really rough lineups or matchups this week. It's like I just see a lot of red here. This just does not bring me confidence.
I appreciate seeing the tough matchups because I think I will need it to squeak by him if I can.
Who do you think wins here, Diaz? This is a real close one.
Yeah, because like I wouldn't be too worried about Richardson this week because one, he seems like he's going to be a quarterback that either scores under 20 or like over 30. There's
Yep.
no going to be like any in between. And Chicago's defense has looked pretty good.
I haven't
Yeah.
watched much of their game, so that's one thing I was not sure about.
They're playing pretty well. Um, his quarterbacks overall just scare me. Like I like the boomer bust with Richardson, but I like Lawrence as a quarterback, but a fantasy quarterback, he's very underwhelming most of the time, which sucks. Um, Achan's a monster. Smitty might because there's going to be no AJ Brown again,
Yeah.
and they're
Yep.
playing New Orleans. And if New
Yep. He's
Orleans
gonna benefit
score,
from
they're
that.
going to have to throw the ball a lot. Um, I
Yeah, I
don't
don't know.
know
I
because
think he'd
I like
take this win. I like his team more, but his matchups scare me. That's the problem.
I'm going to give you the not on quarterbacks because I'll put Fields and Richardson canceling each other out. And I like Murray. Like Murray's the best quarterback out of all four of them, so I'll give you the nod there. Oof. I got to give him the running backs though because Achan.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Achan for sure.
yeah,
I'm feeling
Um,
pretty good about Gus Edwards though, even though his numbers haven't been there, and that Dobbins is getting the big runs. Edwards' volume is still there. I just need him to fucking do something. And
who
Zamir,
you taking, Gee?
I'm taking Human.
Okay, I'm gonna swap it then. I'm gonna take Kyle,
There
and
you
we'll
my
go.
go.
money's
We're
on
split.
Kyle.
It's close though, man.
I'm taking Kyle.
It's,
Well, that's we gone over all the matchups. Is there anything you guys want to talk about before we end this thing?
do you have a winner for the trade offer this week?
I mean, I want to say that I won. What about you? I mean, what do you think?
As far as the worst trade we've seen,
Yeah, I
or
was talking about the worst trade offers that
Oh,
people sent
worst
you.
trade off for the week. Yeah.
man,
Oh,
trying
Want
to
to
yeah.
pull
close
it
out
up.
on that?
No, I gotta
Busting
put
somebody's
I
balls.
gotta put I gotta put my man here on blast. Um,
Do you have pictures, screenshots? Oh,
I
you're
don't
going
I
into it.
don't have I don't have screenshots, but I can go into. I've been getting a lot of trade offers, so I gotta scroll down. I mean, this one was kind of insulting from Holden. Jameson Williams for Saquon Barkley. Go fuck yourself, Holden. Um, but here we go. Look at this offer right here that I got pulled up. Christian McCaffrey for Zamir White.
Hey,
Uh,
Jonathan Brooks.
What
Jonathan
the?
Brooks would be coming back. Would be coming back the same time McCaffrey does,
uh,
right? Brooks might be ready like in the next couple, like next week or two.
I think
It was
this
an
one
asset.
wins it. I think this one wins it. It's hard to compete with this one. This one was so
I
bad.
told you I was trying to prey on your weakness at the moment of having realized that McCaffrey was going to the IR.
I know, it was so rough.
And Zamir White had not played a second game yet. So in my defense, he had not played that second game yet.
He did get
So
13 carries on the first game too.
exactly. So in my defense,
Human, can I ask you an honest question real quick?
yes, sir.
So, like, we've been busting Will's balls since he traded me Debo Samuel and Jordan Mason for like weeks now. And then when McCaffrey went on IR, your response was, "Who has Jordan Mason?" Like, where were you?
Oh, I knew. I knew. Hey, so part of this of being the new guy is I have to get to know each and every one of you and your styles, your how everyone bids, drafts, so on and so forth. And that takes time. You guys getting to know me or understanding me could happen a lot quicker. So I looks aren't always what they seem.
Yeah, yeah.
Last tip I want to give you is you would think like when somebody does something for years and years and years, right, they would get better at it. The lucky thing for you being in this league is that like 8 or 9 people in this league actually get worse. I'm not gonna name any names, but you guys know who you are.
I will say so. Let me kind of say this as our maybe our last little topic that we go over. This is my first auction league I've ever played in. So that was my very first auction draft ever. And I've been playing fantasy for over 20, 25 years.
It's an adjustment.
Um, it it's very different, and you guys are all exceptional fantasy players. I can tell that. I could tell that right away. I mean, the knowledge is there, the research. I can tell what people are doing, what people are looking at. So it's nice to be in a league where you have 12 people like that. Maybe not G Hole. I think G Hole maybe kind of just goes by whatever everyone does, right? Is that how he is?
Oh, he's
No.
new. He's new.
Oh, G Hole's new. I love him though. I don't know much about him as a player, but I can tell you guys are great. So it's nice being in a league where you have that competitiveness, and it's thrown me off. Like the week one waivers, I was like, fuck. Okay, this is how this is gonna go. And then this week, I'm like, fuck. I could have spent $2 instead of 77. So it's a learning curve, and I can see why some people maybe actually are honestly getting worse because this fucking is so difficult.
I have this thing like about like playing poker that sometimes I want to play against bad players, but I don't want to play against really bad players
Yes.
because like the really bad players, y- like the bad players, they're bad because you know what they're doing.
Yeah.
The really bad players don't even know what they themselves are doing. So it's like what it just like puts you in some awkward situations where like you lose to bottom two pair and you're like, What the fuck are you doing, dude? Like you're playing like okay, you had 8-4. Congrats. Good job. But yeah, no, but I really love this league. This league is the reason why I only have two fantasy leagues. I don't see the reason to have more than that.
And I've heard a few of you actually mention that. I think Dylan had talked about how he had done other leagues before and just kind of trim this down to this, and I've heard a few other people say it. And honestly, only 2 weeks in, um, I'm in 6 really competitive leagues, and I typically do like 4 or 5, but this league itself is so immersive to where I'm good if I just do this and maybe 2 other leagues going forward, because this is like that year-round immersiveness where it's what you want from a league, that you try to search and you get a little bit from this league, you get a little bit from that one, and
Yeah,
this one just has it in the entire league.
yeah, we have like a lot of camaraderie and like a lot of
Yeah,
like
I love it.
it's fun.
Your
There's
chances to win money are pretty good too, because out of the 12-man league, there's only like 6 actual fantasy players.
All
I
right.
mean, that's good odds.
I'm just kidding. I love you, SFL.
All right, SFL. It was a good time. We're gonna call it off here. 50 minutes. Thank you so much, guys, for coming on and for everybody watching. Have a good one. Bye.